What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Budget Rebuilds. Today we're working on getting the Harley motor put back together, and believe it or not, I actually bought a manual, so I know how to torque the stuff. I usually don't do that. I know that's not the way I like to do it, but I am going to this time when we're messing with like bottom end engine stuff. So I don't know how far we're going to get along. Obviously, I've never gone this far in a motor before, but remember I left off with a broken crankshaft. I was lucky enough to find a very low mileage, basically a takeoff flywheel. Somebody had upgraded to a stroker motor, so I got a crankshaft with a low mileage pistons and rods on there, all the rings, and also a new cam plate and oil pump, chains, tensioners, everything. Basically all the wear items on it is all going to be under 5,000 miles. So we're going to go ahead and start trying to get it put back together, going by the book, sort of. Alright, so I've covered up my pistons here so that they don't knock up against the studs and get any dings or anything in them. The manual says, and also all the forums that I've read, to use Yama Bond. Basically it's for engine cases to seal together. That's what everybody recommends, so that's what I'm going to use on it too. But we're going to go ahead. This flywheel's just barely sitting in there right now. You can pull it in and out. It just slides in. I think on some of the older models you have to press it in. Either way, flywheel's just set in there. We're going to go ahead and glue up our case here and then set our other engine case on there. It just slides in that sleeve right there. And we'll just finger tight all the bolts and then put it on an engine. Yes, I finally bought an engine stand after all the drama last time trying to get that engine apart. But we'll go ahead and get that on there and get it torqued to spec.
So close, can't deny. Shut my eyes, love is blind.
And also, by the way, I've used like 4 cans of brake cleaner, cleaned out all my passages through here, and sprayed it all out with compressed air. And then after all that, all my bearings, anything that's metal rubbing together, I've put assembly lube on and rubbed it on there. That's what you see leaking out right there. And put all new O-rings throughout. I ordered a new gasket set for it.
Got too close, can't deny.
And it doesn't say anything about putting thread lock on here, but I'm going to put just a little bit on all the threads of the bolts, because it doesn't say not to. Once again, all these bolts are the same size. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and set this in the engine stand. Alright, and the way that I put my engine stand on here was so that I could get to the cam chest easier. So this isn't going to be ideal for filming right now. So you're not going to be able to see what I'm doing back there. Basically, like I explained, just tightening these bolts up first in a certain order according to the manual. So I'm going to start at 10 foot-pounds each and go to each of these in the order they tell me to. Then we're going to turn it up to 15 foot-pounds, and then we'll start getting our oil pump and cam plate stuff in there. Alright, now I'm hitting it at 15 to 19 foot-pounds. Same sequence. Our cases are assembled. I got my new to me oil pump here. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it all apart and put assembly lube all on the gears and on the inside of it. Make sure it's all clean because I don't know how long it's been sitting. Also, I'm going to put my new O-ring on there. Yeah, everything looks good in here. There's no heavy gouging or anything like that. And all my gears look good. So, like I said, I'm just gonna go ahead and put it together with some assembly lube and pop her in there.
Shining through the darkest night, true love waits as we go, burning down the line. Don't wanna talk about it, I'm not with you. No second.
Just want to make sure everything's lubricated before it goes on there. But the pump goes in the engine first. Try to get the thing back together. Anyway.
True love waits as we go, burning down the line.
Alright, so I got a new O-ring for my oil pump. I don't know if that's the scavenge or the feed, I have no idea. But we'll go ahead and stick that dude on there. Like so. We have one separator plate.
Desperate healing.
Then a spring washer. And then another separator plate.
Goes unheard.
Alright, now we can put on our cam plate. Once again, we put assembly lube all over all this the other day, but we got almost new tensioner guide there too. And these just slide into those bearings right there, just like it came off the first time. What we're going to do, since we don't have the tool to line up the chain when the timing chain when we get to there, we'll leave that loose until we get the motor in the bike so we can hold down the rear brake and torque everything to specs there. And also the oil pump, we're not going to snug it down yet because that has to be rotating when you tighten it up to the cam plate. So we will do that once we get the top end on. So I guess I just wasn't holding my tongue just right. I just had to move a little bit and it popped in there. And for those of you that caught it, I forgot to put in my new O-rings there. It's a good thing that I was having trouble with it because I caught it and put new ones in there. And we put just a little bit of thread lock on all these too. I also cleaned them with brake cleaner before I did that. Now I'm going to go back over and torque these cam plate bolts to spec. But right now I'm just going to go ahead and get them going in there. And then I will, not even hand tight, but I'll run those down a little bit closer too. So our used cam plate came with some used Screaming Eagle lifters. Once again, they don't hardly have any miles on them. And the manual says to put the oil holes towards the inside. So that's what I'm going to do. And from everything I'm reading, they're all the same. and I had these lifters soaking in oil overnight. I don't know if you have to or not. I heard it's a good idea. That way then it gets all the air out of them. But
somewhere I belong, I'll see it clearer now.
then we have our retainers. These keep them flat, going staying in one direction like they're supposed to be.
On the radio, there is a truth in the lie.
Alright, now we have our lifter covers. I'm gonna go ahead and put a little bit of thread lock on these two.